So hello everyone, welcome back to our Q&A. This is going to be a good one. And hello Steph, it's good to see you.
I'm very excited about today.
Yeah, I know you are. That's perfect. It's great. Let's dive right in. Let's just do it. So this question comes from someone who wrote in about ZING practice, which is of course our gratitude practice model. And they had to say, they said, I'd really like to do ZING practice more, but I keep forgetting. So, do you have any tips on how to stay motivated and stay plugged in? So, yeah, I resonate quite a lot with this question. Don't know about you, but I think for me, with Zing practice, I must be honest here and confess that I do it in a more sporadic way. And so I also notice for myself that motivation is often so tied to my stress levels. So when I'm going more into the red, when I'm feeling more contracted, shall we say, in my mind, that is precisely when I should be doing gratitude practice that much more. That's precisely when I really need the Zing practice because I know how good it makes me feel afterwards. So this is a perfect topic to discuss for me personally. And yeah, Steph, I know the Zing model is very near and dear to your heart. I'm curious to hear about motivation for you.
Yeah, thanks. And I love the honesty you're sharing here. I have to say for me, Zing is my anchor. And I have been doing Zing practice every day for more than a year now. And it's my way of coming home. And so what I can do is I'll share with you a little bit about how I use Zing practice and what my motivations are to keep doing this, because I have several. So in terms of Zing, I actually write my Zing down in a journal. I have many a journals. I have one here, my latest journal. And so I answer the four questions, written it down. And look, you don't have to write it down at all. It just helps me. And so for me, as I said, it's my anchor. What does it give me? So I answer the question, I'm connecting my mind, and then the fun part is dropping down into the body to understand, okay, if I'm in a, for example, the first question, what brought me zest? And for me, I always answer the question from the day before. So, what brought me zest yesterday? So, what brought me zest yesterday was, as weird as this sounds, I went to the dentist and I got a chance to practice some of my Spanish. And so, chatting back and forth with the woman, I got a little practice there. And that's what brought me zest yesterday. So I write that in my journal and then I go back and I imagine speaking Spanish. How is it making me feel in my body? And then I get creative. So I'm really increasing my vocabulary and my like playful side. I start to think, all right, what's my body doing? So I can feel my heart expanding. I feel tingles in my toes. I just generally feel lighter. Then I'll start to put colors on it. Like, oh, I start to feel this purple swirl going through the top of my head, down through the, bottom of my toes. And what's happening? When I do this, I'm elevating my mood. I'm releasing those positive green zone hormones, dopamine and serotonin. I'm proactively releasing this. So as you said, it makes you feel good. This makes me feel good. Um, One of the other reasons why I do it for the day before and writing it down is I use it as a brain game. So I really want to um, test my memory because sometimes I'm noticing as I'm getting a little older, my memory is a little off sometimes. And this is a great way for me to remember. So reflecting upon the day before, answering all those four questions, and then bringing it back to this present moment. It really stretches my mind, and I like that. What else does it give me? Actually, I'll stop there just to see what, you might want to interject, because I have a lot of other motivations as well.
Yeah. It's actually making me feel lighter to listen to you and how creatively you use it. It's like a fiesta over there. I really like that. You kind of employ all five senses, if not six, and it's yeah, it's really really nice. It's reminding me of maybe what it does for me when I do it. And that is, I notice how my awareness is often when I'm in that contracted space or when I'm not in the present moment, that I'm up in my head. So then the balance in my mind body relationship is off kilter. It's just off because I feel kind of flooded up here. And then I go into all kinds of looping thoughts, and then I get into my habitual patterns, and no good really comes of it. But so for me, the Zing practice, but the enhancement of, really training myself to then drop into my body and be with what's there. And it's nice things. It's good stuff. And the positive emotions. And I feel an expansion in myself. And then I feel spaciousness. And then I feel like I'm just able to drop into a more centered place, and actually a more heart-centered place. And so for me, I'm then in a mediating space. So my seat of awareness, or my being, feels like it's more here as opposed to here. So I'm still utilizing my thoughts and my mind and my brain, but it just feels so much nicer from this more centered space. So for me, I would say that's my motivation for doing it. It's really helped kind of keep me in an aligned place.
Well, that's exactly it. So what you're talking about is the my additional motivation of learning to strengthen and balance the mind body connection. So when you add in the elevation of we're not just answering the question from the mind, but we're tapping into the body sensation, what we're doing is practicing what's called interoception. And what that is just becoming aware of your body, noticing with curiosity. And so what? What's the point of that? What that is you're working actually on a part of your brain called the insular cortex. And when you strengthen that insular cortex, what happens is you become more aware of your body's true needs. So, are you thirsty? Are you hungry? Do you need to pee? Are you hot? Are you tired? All of those messages get strengthened when you start to do practices that drop down in the body. So just like the B and the N and INBODY, you're going down there to strengthen your practice of interoception. What does that do? Well, it increases the messages of safety to your nervous system. What then happens? Oh, you have more access to the green zone and your wisdom self. And you start listening more. There's an even balance now. Instead of your brain going, oh, we must do this. I have to get this done. Da da da. You'll pick up your body's signals of it being like, you know what? I'm a bit hungry, or we're kind of getting tense here. Will you listen? And we start to really heighten that positive feedback loop. And that is so very important to everything we teach in INBODY, which is accessing your wisdom self, going more in the green zone, learning how to handle more of the red zone and your whammies in a more with more capacity and more resource. So for me, this practice helps, I feel stronger, and it increases my resilience. And the other thing that this interoception does, this awareness of body sensation when you're answering the question, is it helps strengthen your gut instinct. So, what's part of the INBODY when we go to D is our inner yes and our inner no. So, all of this is strengthening this relationship so that INBODY becomes easier, so that you go into your daily routines with a bit more joy, ease, confidence, balance. You fill in the blank. Um, and so for me, doing Zing every day is just so powerful.
And that makes me think about the toning of the vagus nerve, which is also what's happening in Zing practice. And then everything that you just said around interoception, that what is that doing? Yes, it's building resilience because it's increasing our window of tolerance. So our window of tolerance is that ability to sit with all emotion comfortably within a within a nice bandwidth before either going into an overwhelmed state, it's like an overstimulated state, versus a bit of a flop, right? And then getting really down, and then maybe there's a little collapse. So if we can increase our window of tolerance, then we're in really good shape for when things get a little bit rocky. So this is yet, another reason to stay motivated is like, hey, you and I were talking about this the other day, strike when the iron's cold. So we're doing this with the green zone. This is a practice that's really moving you deeper into the green zone. But what it's really doing is building your resilience for when you do move into the reds. Because, hey, that's life. That's normal. It's going to be stressful. Let's do my taxes. In 2 different countries. There's my red zone right there. There it is. But you know what? I'm going to have more resilience if I start doing more of the Zing practice. So it's almost like knowing, I don't know, if you take a multivitamin every day. This is like that, but turbocharged for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why for me, I recognize when I don't do it, I notice it. I heard something, it's kind of likening it to somebody was talking about this with meditation. Like, you can go a day without meditating and you're fine. You go 2 days, it's kind of like you forgot to take a shower and you kind of start to smell a little. And you go 3 days without meditating. Oh, ooh, you can feel a bit groggy. You're not centered. You're not aligned. It's kind of like not taking that shower. You need to take a shower. This is the same thing for me. If I don't do my Zing, I start to notice. And my husband notices, like, he's like, oh, hang on a minute. And I recognize it. Sometimes if I'm rushing and I don't have time, I actually have like a little piece of paper that I'll like jot down because I'm focused on it. That's the other thing. Zing gives you, just like INBODY gives you a structure, Zing gives you a structure. So when I'm going about my day, I'm thinking, oh, yep, that's going to give me zest. Yeah. So then there's that focus there as well. And the other thing I didn't actually mention, which motivates me as well, is doing it with somebody. So I love doing it with Kevin, my husband, because it it's a bonding experience, and I really love the sharing. And you're vocalizing it. So writing it down, thinking it, vocalizing it, all increases those chances of feeling those feel-good hormones and going into the green zone and allowing your system to feel that safety and joy and peace and all those elevated emotions.
Yes, it makes me think this is really cool. You and I talked about this the other day as well. There's actually a research study done out of UCLA about gratitude practice. So they studied a decent group of people who engage in gratitude practice for, I think, for 3 months, not even that long, but 3 months daily. And then they did a scan and they noticed that in the prefrontal cortex, there was a lot more activity in the group that was doing daily gratitude practice for 3 months. And of course, hey, that's like executive function. So that's around better decision making skills. That's around organizing, planning. But in a good way, not strictly just from, hey, analytical brain. So it's so important. Prefrontal cortex is also about finding the right word and the languaging. And so that's 3 months. That's not, yeah, it just makes me think. Makes me think.
And that's why, like, I love that. Just 3 months. Here I am. I'm over the year later, and I can tell you, it has made me a happier person. Like, it just frankly has, and it's something that I look forward to doing every day. And it's just like part of my self-care ritual, so to say.
Yeah, I've noticed as well for me, sporadic though I might be, um, it was something that you mentioned earlier about how you tend to do Zing practice the day before. So you tend to sort of pull from a short term past. And I noticed that I actually sort of do it in the present moment quite a lot. Like I did this happened to me yesterday. The sun was out. It's springtime here in Berlin. It's really beautiful. I went out for a little walk in between meetings. And it was just a glorious day. So feeling the warmth of the sun, and there was actual fresh air around here, and it was just really really wonderful. I felt myself slipping into Zing practice just quite naturally, and then being able to kind of route it through the four questions, as it were. What's bringing me zest right now, and then feeling it in my body because I'm in the actual environment in the present moment as it's happening. So there was a I just felt like life looked a little more colorful and real to me. So there's something to be said for really, as you say, like practicing and getting creative with playing with this practice. Doesn't have to be one size fits all.
Exactly. And I love that. So you're using it present moment. I use it the day before. What I've been trying out lately actually is when I ask the question and then I tap into my body and feel those kind of elevated states and whatever's going on in my body, I've been playing with then asking some power questions after. So, what felt, I said I spoke to in Spanish yesterday at the dentist's office. I was feeling elevated and tingly and excited and all of that stuff. And then I threw in a power question like, well, how can I utilize this into my today? And so then it got me thinking and tapping into my wisdom self because I'm already in the green zone of, oh, what's coming up today? What meetings do you have? Who are you interacting with? How do you want to show up to yourself? And then I was able to start to think differently and broader and feel more empowered of, oh, I have more kind of choice over how I want to show up and create my day. And so I've been playing with that, and that's been kind of cool too.
Oh, I like that. Adding on a little soupçon of a power question. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I think one thing, yeah, it's making me think one thing that I've been doing lately that's maybe a little bit different for me is choosing maybe one of the letters. So the other day I decided, I was like, okay, well, what's going to inspire me today? And I didn't know, but I was just sort of sitting with it. It's almost like I put it in my pocket and I was just sitting with it all day. But as you and I know, when you put your mind and train it in a particular direction, that's what the brain does. It starts to pattern match and it starts to work and conspire with you. Can conspire against you if you depends on what you're thinking about, of course. But I decided, okay, I need inspiration today. And I was surprised by how well it worked. And it was noticing even the smallest of details. And I was like, yes, okay, good. So I guess in terms of, this person's questions around motivation, it's kind of almost understanding, but what is the point of this? What does it do for us? What are the good things that it's doing? And then it's almost like finding that spark in yourself. It's like, hey, you're motivated to take this course for a reason. What is it that you want more of to begin with? And you can actually train it then, enhance it, deepen it with the gratitude practice. You can almost combine those two things together.
Yeah. And if for some reason you're like, you know what, I want to dip my toe in the water, just try one letter. Pick one. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You want to start small, but hopefully we've given you, because literally I get so excited about Zing. Hopefully we've given you some motivation and inspiration to give it a go, to see what works for you. As you can see, both Laura and I do things differently, but the end result is the same. We're feeling better, stronger, and more resilient. And that's what this is all about. You're coming home, you're connecting in, and you're building a stronger relationship from the inside out, which means your reality is going to be that much better. So thank you for sending in that question. And I look forward to anybody that wants to write any comments or feedback, please do. We're always welcome for that.
That's right. And we will see you next time. In the meantime, wishing you a very zingy day.